We have been wondering what, if anything, the government is going to do to help those being devastated in a variety of different ways in terms of health or economics or housing from the pandemic and the associated economic catastrophe that we're in right now. On the eve of that aid needing to be continued, they did nothing. They went on a 3-day weekend, but finally they're back, and the negotiations are apparently continuing. Here is some of what the White House has apparently offered. They want to extend the federal unemployment enhancement at a flat rate of $400 per week, down from the now lapsed level of $600 per week, although bear in mind that even if this were passed today, which it won't be, it will take literally weeks for states to resume those payments. They want to extend the federal eviction moratorium until mid-December, and they want $200 billion in state and local funds to be made available, up from zero in the initial Senate Republican proposal. So that is currently, those are the highlights of what they're offering. JR, more or less than you thought that they would?
Definitely more. I didn't see any reason why the White House would think they wanted to extend mostly that unemployment enhancement rate, but they're looking to at least drop it to appease at some point some of the rich people that pay them. But so because just and the only reason I thought that is because of the way that Steve Mnuchin and everyone else in the White House bubble have been talking down unemployment enhancement benefits for people, basically saying that Americans aren't worth it. So, we'll tout how much we love America.
Yeah.
America's the best in the world, but we don't extend that graciousness towards our citizens. We just go, you guys are lazy. What's the matter with you? You're never going to want to work again because you don't like working. I'm not sure where all these assumptions come from, but the fact that they're even trying to push for this 400 a week, I think is strictly because of the pressure that's being put on them because they look so bad right now. And it's because it's an election year. If it was not an election year for all these guys, they would not even be trying to push this part, in my opinion.
I think that that's almost certainly the case. Like, they have to be looking out at the polls and realizing, oh, it turns out that if you leave people to suffer and die and become homeless because the government just refuses to do nothing, that could hurt you in an election. And so maybe they'll temporarily do it for that. Only for that, not because they actually care about the human devastation or indeed even the damage to the economy, oddly enough. They don't seem to care enough about that. So here's my reaction to the White House's offer. Overall, I guess it would be one of my fingers raised, guess which one. But on the unemployment enhancement, the fact that it's 400 rather than 600 is devastating. I don't think a lot of progressives were saying 600 seems like too much. It's more than the 100 that the Senate wanted to continue, I guess. But I worry about that now seeming reasonable at 400 because of the initial offer.
Exactly.
The Democrats' initial offer should have been $2,000 flat rate to every American while this is continuing. So bear that in mind. Extending the federal eviction moratorium until mid-December is 25% good. Maybe 10% good, because first of all, the moratorium doesn't protect all renters. It protects a certain quantity of them, something like a third. So in that respect, it's not wide enough. It's not long enough because I have a feeling that by mid-December, we'll still be in a pandemic regardless of who wins in the election. So it's not wide enough. It's not long enough. It's also not enough because we don't just need an eviction moratorium. We need assistance to renters, assistance to homeowners. There are some who, hypothetically might be working a little bit, don't qualify for unemployment, but they're still being devastated by the economic collapse that's come along with the pandemic. So it's not enough in nearly every regard. And in terms of the money to state and local funds, I don't know if $200 billion is nearly enough. I have reason to believe it's not, which we'll get to. But I also know that they're still slow rolling on providing assistance to make sure that the election will be run in a way that protects people's lives and their rights. And so this is better than I guess I would have expected an offer from Trump to be. And that's about it. It's worse in every other way than my very low expectations.
Yeah, it makes you ask the question, what is the motivation for people in this White House to do something more for the American people? Because they keep talking about the motivation for Americans to go back to work, because if we give them money, they're never going to want to be motivated to go back to work. What is your motivations for doing something to help in this pandemic? Maybe if you actually gave Americans what they're worth and what can actually help stimulate this economy as we go through this, you'll light a fire under your butt to maybe do something more about implementing policies or encouraging people to practice safe things while we go through this, and we can get our economy back sooner. If nothing else, it would force them to go, man, we're doling out a lot of money every month to all these Americans. Let's get on the ball and get this done.
Yeah.
They have no motivation to do that. They give you nothing. By the way, not give you nothing. Provide what you've already paid for. Let's go ahead and give the correct language here, because they keep telling us that Americans. Steve Mnuchin the other day said, "We're not going to pay. We're not going to pay this much to Americans. You're not paying anybody, Steve. That's not your money.
It's
bro.
not. It is quite literally, and I want to be clear. I am using the word literally the way it is intended to be used. It is literally those people's money that they paid. And Steve Mnuchin, he's rich, so I doubt he's paying $1 in taxes. But anyway, yeah, no, it's not his money. And I would be perfectly happy to go from now until my grave never hearing Steve Mnuchin talk about how ridiculous it is that we give people who've lost their jobs because of the pandemic money. I am so sick of it, I can't even express how sick of it I am. So anyway, that's the check-in. They have apparently decided we're gonna have a deal by Friday. Yay. That means, what, 3 weeks for people who are unemployed with no payments? I have to assume for a lot of people, if you are receiving unemployment payments, 3 weeks is about as long as it takes for you to not be able to pay your rent, hypothetically, and for you to be kicked out. And as of right now, eviction moratorium, well, first of all, there was no moratorium for the vast majority of people, but even for those where it was there, hypothetically, maybe we'll have a deal on that part. We'll see. What a failure of a government. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.